Welcome back to another episode of Monday Saints. Today we are going to be learning about Joan of Arc, the patron saint of France and of soldiers. She was claimed to hear the voices of Saint Michael, Saint Margaret, and Saint Catherine when she was very young. While she was playing in her father's garden, she heard those saints tell her to drive the England out of France. And a quote from her saying that, they were so beautiful. And so her whole thing was that she helped the French drive the British out of France, drive the English out of France. And a big thing was that she led the army as a woman, which back then in the 15th century was a big deal. She had courage, fearlessness, but she was close to the Pope, but not the Pope, the King. But after that king, a new king stepped up, took the crown, and didn't care for Joan. So, anyways, she had a vision that she was going to be captured by the British. She didn't care. She went into battle anyways, and she was then captured by the English. She tried to escape many times, but she got thrown back in. She was charged for sorcery and heresy. The English tried to trick her with questions. They were judging her and they were asking her questions like, do you have God's guidance, or do you have his acceptance of you, and something along those lines. And she said, well, if I say I don't know, who am I to judge? So if I say no, that would be me telling the truth. So if I say yes, I would be speaking for God, but if I said no, they would see that as weary. She was charged for witchcraft, heresy, and cross-dressing, dressing as a man. And she was sitting there about to be executed, and she was like, did I really have those visions, and am I actually going to die for them? So she said, I take it all back. Nothing of that happened. So she was let go, but she was brought back for cross-dressing again. And then at that moment she knew that she was given those visions by God, and they did have importance. So she stood her ground. She was about to be executed. She has to see a cross before her death. So she saw the cross, 2 priests were holding it, and then she was burned to the stake. And her last words were Jesus' name over and over. And then after her death, a man said a white bird flew from the ashes. So that's her story. She was later canonized by Pope Benedict XV as a saint, and now she lives on in the Hall of Saints. And she's probably one of the best known saints. Her and Saint Anthony, which we covered the last Monday Saints, probably are the most well known. But she did a lot. She helped the French. She stood her ground. Her religion and she didn't back down to what God told her to do. When God kind of tells you to do something, you kind of do it. And she knew that. She knew that well, and she had courage. And even though she knew she was going to get captured by the English, she went into battle anyways because God told her to drive the English out. So that's her story. Short videos, but we're just breaking down the saints. That's what we're doing here. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next Monday Saints video.